David,
Let me
or
talk to
Joe, what's going
here.
on?
Joe, what's up? Are you debating?
Because you want things different, you're a cult? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's not
No.
that. It's the mentality that you guys embody. It's the fact that the leader is always right, and you can't find a single issue that which you can criticize him on when it comes to policy. Whenever we ask the question, "What do you disagree with?" it's usually how he talks or how he tweets, but not a policy-oriented disagreement. That's what makes you a cult. The fact that you guys are buying Bibles and steaks and hats and shoes and shit that have his name on it, I think it's pretty indicative of what you guys are doing.
No,
Yeah.
we're just sick. We're just sick of the stuff that's happening right now. I mean, you can't go to a grocery store and buy something. You can't buy a house. It's unbelievable what's going
Okay,
on.
hold on a second.
Yeah, that's
hold on,
'cause of
hold on.
Trump.
Wait a second, though. Housing prices went up under Trump. Housing prices have been going up for a long time. Grocery prices have been going up a long time. And when we tell you guys this, we say we need to raise the
You
minimum
guys-
wage.
Wait, you guys
please,
change the narrative to fit
Please.
your need,
Please.
and you go against the
Please.
percentage against a different type.
please allow me to finish that, and then you can talk.
You
Okay?
guys- no, because you guys twist things to fit your narrative.
up.
What? I just allow me to finish the sentence, man.
I
and
think
then
we
you can
muted him
talk.
at the same time.
Yeah, you're muted. You can talk. Just allow me to talk. I don't even know where I was. Like he was just kept yapping. I don't know where I'm even at.
Housing prices.
Right. Housing prices, food prices, fuel prices, the cost of living has been going up for a long time. Progressives have been screaming that people cannot afford things. And we have been stating how we should fix it, like raising the minimum wage. And you guys are vehemently opposed. So I don't know what your solution. You don't have a solution. You have a fucking complaint. Donald Trump has not offered any solutions for inflation, for the cost of food, for housing, for anything. The only thing that he's wanted to do is cut SNAP to make it worse. They've been trying to cut public funds to make it worse. So can you please elaborate? Do you guys believe in raising the minimum wage now? Is that, I told you, they just whine.
No.
When
know.
you go up on the minimum wage, everything else is going to go up.
I told you, see? So you don't have, what's your solution?
Isn't
Let
it
me ask you
going
a
up
question.
now, though?
What's your solution to
No,
inflation?
if you've got a person at McDonald's making $20
please-
an hour, how much is that hamburger going to cost?
Like 3 cents. So let me ask you a question,
no, it's
though.
not going to
Yeah, it
cost
is. No,
like
this is
3
actually,
3
yeah,
cents
this is,
more.
You
this
know
is actually,
business at all? Do you
this
have
is
any
actually,
clue what the
listen, this
business
is
runs?
actually a standard, this is a Stanford study. It was like 3 cents a cheeseburger. So no, it's not.
No, it's not 3
Okay,
cents.
listen, man.
Okay,
I'm gonna
see,
ask
that's
you
what I
really-
mean, how you guys turn the narrative.
Okay, if I pull up a Stanford study for you, will you pay me for doing that and wasting my time?
When I was in my teens, I worked at the McDonald's. Then it was 3 cents a burger. It's not that way.
Okay, but that was in
It's not
1950
even close.
when homes
You
didn't
got
cost
everybody-
$3,000 for a two-bedroom,
everybody makes
$300,000 for
$20
two
an
bedrooms.
hour. Everything else is going to go up.
Can you listen for a second? There is no evidence to substantiate that. In-N-Out Burger, Dick's Cheeseburgers in Seattle, all of them pay over $20 an hour. Dick's, okay, costs less than McDonald's. Dick's pays $25 an hour after your first month. They have a 401k. They pay for school. They pay for childcare. They pay for platinum dental and medical plans and the list of benefits. And they do that all for the cost of burgers, the same price or less than McDonald's. So I don't want to hear
Show me how much they're paying for a burger.
it. At Dick's,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like $2.50 or $3.
Okay, and then you've got the person delivering it. You've got the supplies you have to go for. You have
I
the
know
electric you
that's
have
what
to
it
go
is
for.
currently. They pay $25 an hour currently.
Right. So how much are they? You can't keep raising the minimum wage. You've got to cut. You've got to cut.
I know that you
You've
think
gotta
that, but
break
there's
it
no
down.
evidence. Just let me ask you a question,
You know,
okay?
after the
What is
pandemic-
Trump's plan? What is Trump's plan for lowering inflation?
Well, the biggest thing is to lower the interest rate.
The interest rate?
Yes.
What's his plan to do that?
So he doesn't control the interest rate. Jerome
Well, you
Powell
get a guy-
does.
you get someone in there that knows what the hell's going on.
So Jerome Powell controls the interest rate, not the president.
I know that, but who picked him?
So Jerome Powell picked
Who
it
picked
because,
Jerome Powell?
right, Jerome Powell, well, it was under the Trump
He's a
presidency.
Republican, by the way.
They have a board of directors, but Jerome Powell
Yeah.
is a Republican. Yeah. They have a board of
Okay, but who
directors
picked
that
him?
appoints them.
He was picked by
the
Trump.
leader. Like they confirm it. Anyways, Jerome Powell, though, raised it because of the mass amount of financial turmoil that we were headed to. We had to raise the interest rate to try and slow down the economy, incidentally enough, as weird as that sounds. So even when the interest rate goes down, yes, stuff will go down, but that doesn't have anything to do with Trump or Biden. Neither one of them control interest rates. That's left up for Jerome Powell.
Agreed, but that's what has to start. That's what's going to bring it down, is bringing down the interest rate.
But how would bringing down the interest rate lower inflation?
How would it lower inflation? You're paying for more with the interest rate. You
Well,
take
yeah,
a
on like
loan-
home prices and stuff. But what does this have to do with consumer goods?
When you're buying
Groceries,
something,
for
you're
instance.
taking a loan for something. Okay, when you need supplies, you take a loan. Okay, everything goes from that interest rate. The economy is built on that interest rate. When you buy a car, it's on that interest rate. When you buy a house, it's on that interest rate.
Okay.
Everything's dealing with the interest rate. You start lowering that interest rate, you've got more people
Okay,
with credit
then-
card debt than anywhere, any time in American history.
Then you're headed for financial disaster there. I'm just really quick. So you're not sure what Donald Trump's plan is to stop inflation because he doesn't control that.
The narrative is, what has Joe Biden done? What has he done?
He's done a lot
Look
of
at-
stuff
look at
that
where-
we can get.
He's coming off of pandemic. We should be going nuts right now. And where are we?
But I
We're
don't know what that
worse
means.
than what we are.
I don't know what that means.
You guys just changed the narrative so it comes out.
What have
like
we
you guys
changed?
are all
What narrative
right.
have we changed? All I've asked you is
You
how
can't
Donald
live
Trump
with
plans
the
to
way
address
things
these
are right
economic.
now.
All I have asked you is how Donald Trump plans to address these economic issues. And you're saying that somehow we're going to go back to prices 3 years ago. It's just not going to happen.
No,
There's no
we're not gonna
evidence. There's no evidence. Like you want people to get paid the same and somehow manage to pay more money.
What I'm
Was there
saying
really
is
quick?
the
Was there a
interest
minimum
rate
wage?
is
Was there a minimum wage
killing-
increase over the last 4 years? Has there been a minimum wage increase?
No.
And we've had skyrocketing inflation anyways.
But barely any state is going with the minimum wage. They're paying higher.
Some of them are, yeah, but it's in a response because
A lot
nobody
of
will
them
take
are.
the jo-
A
well,
lot
yeah,
of
but that's
them are
not.
paying
But it's lagging. It's a lagging indicator. People are taking jobs for more money because they can't afford it on less because of inflation, not the other way
So
around.
what do you think these companies are going to do when you're paying 25, 30 bucks an hour? What do you think they're going to do?
They're going to pay $25 or $30 an
They're
hour.
going to put robots in.
Okay,
You're going to be replaced and you're going to be unemployed.
okay, they already have been. What's your point?
Okay, so that's not going to
What they, so
raising the rate
so wait,
is not
so you
gonna
want
help
people to be
anything.
impoverished because of a fucking robot? I don't.
No, but the start of it is the interest rate to lower.
So what
it
I find-
we
I
can
find-
purchase more.
What I find most hilarious about this conversation is on one side, you're saying, I can't afford anything. I'm having a problem. But all of those other people that have to work for subpar wages, fuck them. And that's fucking Trumpism.
No,
Fuck
didn't
everybody
say fuck
else.
them. I
Yes,
said
you
that's
are.
not the
Why does
problem.
that, hold on,
No.
why does I'm in financial trouble only apply to everyone but you?
I'm in
Why?
financial trouble. Don't tell me that.
I get that. Yeah, I know. But
I'm
you guys are
retired.
saying, right,
My
but you guys are
401
saying,
is
hold on,
shot to
please
hell
follow,
since
please,
Biden's been
I know,
in
please,
there.
please
I
follow me
can't
for a second.
buy anything that's in there, and you're telling
Bro.
me that I'm
Bro,
doing that?
please follow me for a second, okay? You are making the claim that it's a problem now, but when we were telling you it was a problem years ago, you didn't care. So why do you deserve special treatment to sit on my live and complain when you wouldn't fucking listen when we said that people were poor? Why do you get the right to come in here and complain now that you can't afford shit when we've been telling you people can't afford shit for years, for decades?
See, you change the narrative.
I'm not changing the narrative.
Yes,
This is
you
your
are.
argument.
Listen to this.
You
When I
guys
grow
have
up-
come. See, he doesn't have an answer. That's why you're stonewalling right now.
No, see, you change the narrative to
Bro,
fit your needs.
Joe,
That's
you're
what
the one
bullshit
changing the
is.
narrative.
Yes, it is.
You're
I
changing
didn't
the
say
narrative about
anything
no,
poor
stop.
people. I'm
You're
saying
changing
No.
the narrative. Your
every
approach to welfare is that it's terrible when we apply it to lower income people, but that it's necessary when it applies to you. Maybe we should just cut Social Security.
See,
I assume you're
didn't say
retired,
that.
right?
I didn't say anything about welfare and that. We were talking about the minimum wage and how it's not going to
Right,
help
but we're talking
people
about
without-
basic standards for lower income people.
which I am.
Right. So we're talking about you.
Then why wouldn't you want more buying power?
I can't because of the rates.
So I just want to point out when billionaires get this crazy amount of money, they spend lavishly, that doesn't affect inflation. But when we give it to poor people, then it does.
See, you guys changed the narrative to fit your needs.
It's not. The money's
got
still
nothing to do
there.
with-
I'm just
with-
asking
And your
you.
argument,
What I was telling you, I can't.
your argument
afford
is
to
still
buy a-
predicated on the idea of welfare. You want government to step in to deal with higher prices or whatever the you want. Okay, that's some form of government assistance. But then you don't want it when it comes to raising the minimum wage.
Raising the minimum wage isn't the answer.
Why? Then why don't we have no minimum wage?
If you raise the minimum wage, everything else is going to go up accordingly. So you're not going to get any farther ahead.
So why wouldn't we get rid of the minimum wage then? Let me ask you this. Why did we establish a minimum wage in the first place? Can you explain that to me?
Why did
Because
they
if
make
what you're saying is,
why did they
if what
make
you're saying is
retirement for
true, please,
65? Why did they make retirement for 65?
if I don't know what that has to do with my question. If you're saying
same
that,
thing
if
as
you're saying,
minimum
listen, please, you're saying that if we raise the minimum wage, okay, that somehow it will have this negative effect on prices that has never been substantiated ever, but also
come on.
ignoring the fact that this was put into effect, I don't know, almost a century ago, a minimum wage, a standard minimum wage. And when they did it, guess what they didn't do? Oh, prices have gone up now. We will have to go ahead and get rid of the minimum wage. That never happened because that's
Did you
not
ever run
how
a-
it
did you
works.
ever run a Did you ever run a business?
What does that have to do with what I'm talking about?
The payroll accounts for 30 to 33% of your profits. You
Okay.
raise that minimum wage and you're talking to 40 to 50%. That means more people are going to get laid off. Cost of goods are going to get up. That's
Why,
not the
why
answer.
would that mean people would get laid off?
They can't afford it. They
So
cannot
why? So hold
afford
on.
it.
How come there? Because there are businesses like Dick's, like In-N-Out, like other various companies that pay their employees a living wage, and you're out here defending as some sort of institutional, this will fuck us up, these companies that aren't. So do they just have bad business models? You're saying that
Okay.
the prices of shit's going up, and that's never been shown before, ever.
Let's
That's
look
never
at
been shown.
California right now. The owners are already saying they're going to be closing because of the minimum wage going up.
The owners of what?
They're not.
Yes, they are.
The owners of what?
Restaurants, fast food, they can't afford it.
They can't. So why can In-N-Out and Dick's do it and not them?
Yeah, they can.
McDonald's made $9 billion
I'd like to-
in
I'd like
profit.
to
They
see-
could
I'd
give
like
a
to see
raise
the-
to every.
I would like
McDonald's
to
made
see
$9
the facts.
billion. Yep. What?
I would like to see the facts on that and see what
I tried to tell you the Stanford study.
You're telling me stuff. You're not showing me their expense.
I told you this has been looked at in Seattle because when back in 2004 or 5, I was told the exact same line of bullshit you're telling me now. Prices will, if Seattle raises the minimum wage, prices will go up. Everybody will get fired. Blah, blah, blah. Never happened. It never happened.
I ran a retail store for 33 years. So don't tell me what retail's all about and what that's going to affect the bottom line.
Maybe you should have been better at
You
it.
have no clue what retail is about.
Maybe
Nothing.
you should have been better at it.
Hey, I had 33 years. 33
I know, but
years.
you
and I was an A-plus
okay.
manager, and I knew how to run a store.
That's fine, but you
I
lowballing your
knew how to run a
employees and
store.
trying to
You
defend
don't
it.
know how business is run, so don't give your opinion on something
I
you
don't know
know
how business is run. I
No,
do
you
have
don't.
studies on my. Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
how much
Whatever.
is
I
the
don't give a
cost
shit.
for the expense of payroll?
For
And what
payroll?
that- yeah.
What are you
Out of
talking
your
about?
profit. Out of your profit.
Are you talking about labor?
How much out of your profit in your store, how much goes to payroll?
Usually it's like 30 to 50%, somewhere in there.
Okay, now you try running a business with 30 or 50%, it's not that high, okay? It's usually about 30%. You get up to 50%, which an increase in payroll would do, you're going to cut labor. You're going to cut labor,
Why would you
buddy,
cut labor?
because you can't afford
So
it
why
to
did that
run
not?
the store.
Okay, why did that not happen in Seattle?
That's why I'm saying I want to see I want to see it.
Okay, I'll pull it up for you. UW study.
I want to see their expense.
So the impact of a city, right here, the impact of a city level minimum wage policy on supermarket food prices by food quality metrics, a 2-year follow-up study. Results. There were no you can go read the methodology, by the way. There were no overall market basket price changes attributable to Seattle's minimum wage policy. Moreover, no minimum wage effect was detected by USDA Food Group, food processing, or nutrient dent categories. Conclusion, local area supermarket food were not impacted by Seattle's wage policy 2 years into policy implementation and after the first increase to $15 an hour overall or by subclassification. So, in other words, the UW put together a pretty extensive study. There's a whole page on it, and they have a...
Okay, do you see how many stores are closing around the U.S., major
What
stores?
does that have to do with Seattle? They're not closing in Seattle.
Well, what I'm telling you is because they can't afford it. They can't afford it. And if you go...
Why are they saying that they're not, that it didn't affect them?
Best Buy, Walmart, Walgreens,
This is why I say, like, when people come in here and throw business at me, do you know what, like, quantity versus, like, you know what quality selling in, like, supermarkets? I don't know if you work in a supermarket or something like that. If the economy has more money, that means more money is going into your store, which means you sell more, requiring less profit. There's also less waste, et cetera, et cetera. This study, as numerous others, show that there's no negative impact from raising the minimum wage.
So why are all these companies closing their stores?
Which companies?
Which companies?
Best Buy, Walmart, Walgreens,
Best Buy.
CVS.
So I don't know what you mean by Best Buy is closing their stores. Best Buy is reworking their stores to be like a walk-in. You go and you peruse, and then they bring it to the count, that type of thing.
Right,
that's
because
what they're going for.
They could not afford the payroll.
No,
that's why they're doing it. Yes,
where does it say that?
Where does it say that? No, that's not why they're doing that. I read the news. I read the news. I read the news articles on it. The reason they did it.
My son was a manager there. That's why they laid him off.
The reason that they
stop talking. We are planning to open a few additional outlet centers and new formats to continue to test new important concepts. First, we will open small locations in complete outstate markets where we have no prior physical presence and our omni-channel sales penetration is low to measure our ability to capture untapped share, Chief Executive Officer Corey Berry said. This is from Best Buy.
And you go against their
also,
payroll.
the total number is 10.
See, you want to change the narrative.
Where does it say anything about their payroll?
They're not.
Stop saying that. It's getting old.
Because you don't understand. You have no clue what's going on.
They're reopening them in smaller locales.
Right.
And retrofitting them
That's
in areas that they haven't been before.
So the goal.
Where does it say that
they have no people working there?
Well, listen. No, they do. Don't make me go down there. Yes, they do.
They have a third of their payroll working with these new stores because you come and it's like Amazon. There's nobody.
Listen for a second. Listen. It's not payroll that they're predominantly concerned about. It's theft, and it's also they're trying to whittle down and remove the cost of real estate space. That's what they're trying to do. Sure, they may be able to reduce the amount of people that work there, but that's not the predominant thing. They're trying to adapt.
And why are they doing that?
They're doing that because they're trying to limit the amount of overhead.
Because they can't afford the payroll with the sales.
They can't afford the payroll. Okay, so what is Best Buy's profit? What is Best Buy's profit for 2023? $9.9 billion.
I don't know how we can afford that.
Okay, yeah. So
Skeptic, appreciate the sub. Thank you, Skeptic. Appreciate it.
You have to worry about opening it up if you can. More stores.
I don't. All right, go ahead and be muted for a second, bro. I don't. You're muted. I don't know how to have this conversation if when you present him with the evidence, he's just ignoring it. Like, this is from Best Buy.
Changing the narrative, Tommy.
This is from Best Buy. This is what they're doing. And they're doing it for multitudes of reasons. Okay. It may be a situation even where they're like, okay, maybe we'll test this out to see if we can reduce the cost of labor, because cost of labor is a thing. This is a new market idea that they're trying. It's not a we got to cut our fucking labor because we can't afford it. Every business would like it to cut labor. We are attempting to, raise the minimum wage for the people that they're making it. I'm pretty sure they can afford to pay their people more if they're making $9.9 billion in profit. You know what else? If they have to raise, here's a crazy part. If they have to raise prices a little bit to cover that, okay, every other company that they're competing with does as well. Kind of weird how that works. Kind of weird. And I would rather have people making a living wage and me having to pay a few cents more than the opposite, because we've already paying this. You're telling me this whole time that we could, before inflation started happening, that we could have been paying people more money and you guys were against it the whole time? Monique, appreciate the Prime sub. Thank you. I can't argue. I can't argue with this about you because you don't even want to listen. Like you're not even listening to what Best Buy is saying. Monique, appreciate the Prime sub. Thank you.
You have no clue about business.
Can you address
all I
what
have
Best
changing the
Buy
narrative.
said?
Just change the narrative. They're restructuring because they couldn't afford it.
It's not a bankruptcy, dude.
Where does it say that?
Where does it say that?
Where does it say that? That's why
Yes.
my son got laid off. He
I
was
don't
a
know why your
manager.
son got laid off. Maybe he wasn't a good fucking. Maybe he wasn't a fucking good fucking manager. I don't fucking know. I couldn't tell you. All
They
I know
were
is that's not why they remove
restructuring.
people out. They may be losing
They
money in that
could- they
location. Listen. They may be losing money in that location. Best
They
Buy in
could-
general is not losing
And they
money.
said they were going to switch it to more of an Amazon structure where people
All right,
would come
man.
in.
Cool. You're muted. You can go find me a source because trust me, bro, ain't working, and I'm done talking to you about it. That's pretty much what that is. What it is. You're gonna go around in
You're
circles.
changing the narrative.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. You can either go find something in the news from it, or you can provide some evidence. But trust me, bro, ain't working anymore. Best Buy has been one of the few both online, in-person companies that's in America, like one of the most successful. They made that transition pretty well, but there is a lot of overhead from having real estate space, especially in 2024. So, of course, you're going to try and cut that. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't be allowing people to get paid more. And if Best Buy can't afford to pay their employees with $9.9 billion, fuck them. Bye. Why do companies get to operate on welfare? Why do they get to operate on the philanthropy from their workers? No, that's absolutely unacceptable. They should not be operating on philanthropy. If you can't pay, buy. If you can't pay, buy. And what happens to a fucking person that doesn't pay their rent? They're evicted, right? Hold the same energy. And by the way,
Well,
Walmart has been closing down stores for a while.
$9
I sent
billion
them a thing
really
I sent a
scraping
thing
by
to-
here.
Move to Cuba. God, that's fucking a great one. You must totally kill at funerals. Good joke. I don't understand the logic here. I mean, there's no evidence. I mean, this is just, I
Joe?
feel like the prices would go up. Then why haven't they? Why haven't the prices gone up? Why is payment to people been pacing inflation? I sent him a request on mute. Probably doesn't know he's muted. I just irritating, man. The same talking points forever. Never raise. So by this logic, right, we could save the economy by paying everybody the same amount of money in 1950. Is that right? In fact, let's turn this into a communism. Everybody gets paid the minimum wage.
The
right?
same rate.
If your argument is that prices go up when you raise the minimum wage, it also must go down when you make the minimum wage. We make everybody get paid the same. That's a lower rate. That makes sense, right?
That seems fair
One
enough.
can't be true without the other. All right, Joe, I'm going to give you one more to unmute, and then you're going to go.
Down with wages.
When you learn about retail,
Oh, there it goes.
okay?
So,
I'll let you
Joe,
go
can
with
you-
that, though.
Can you
When
answer
you learn
that?
about retail, then we'll talk.
Can
With
you
this
answer that,
bullshit
Joe?
With everything else, with the 1950 wages, it's ridiculous. I
Joe,
can't talk
can
to you
you-
because you don't have enough common sense about
Joe,
running a store.
Joe, I asked you a question. If wages
Hey, stop
go
changing
up
the narrative.
when we increase the minimum wage, certainly the cost of stuff must go down if we pay people less. So we should pay everybody one rate at the minimum wage, right? Federal standard, and that would save you a bunch of money in the grocery store, correct?
If we paid everybody the minimum wage,
Right.
no, there's different skills for everybody.
Right, but I'm saying that you're saying that we should drop the cost of everything. It would benefit everybody if they actually got paid the minimum wage because the cost of everything would go down, right? That's what you're saying.
I didn't say drop the cost of minimum wage.
No, I'm saying that if you're going to make the claim that
You're
if you
arguing
raise the
against
minimum
raising it.
wage, right, if you're saying that raising it will cause stuff to go up, lowering it must cause stuff to go down, correct?
By what you're saying, yes.
No.
Awesome. So the logic there would be, follow me, if we make everybody
Explain
get
how
paid
that
the
works.
minimum wage, if we get everybody paid, I'm gonna blow your mind here. If we paid everybody with a federal minimum wage right now, prices would go down, correct? The
Your
answer to
logic-
that,
your
see,
logic-
but the answer to that,
of
you know, is no. In fact, it would probably have the opposite effect because you now have an economy with less money being spent in it. People having less money, which cause a period of deflation, cause stuff to cost more, as well
So
as
you're
you're not
changing-
selling
you're
as a
changing
society. But
the
please
logic.
just follow the trend.
No,
As a
this is
society-
bull. No, forget it,
as a
buddy. You don't-
society,
you
this
have
is the
no
same-
clue
just
about
please-
retail, so there's no sense about going on about it. You have
Stop
no
talking.
damn clue about it. Period.
I don't care.
So I'm
Stop
going
Stop
to
talking.
Changing the f***ing narrative.
No, I'm not. Raising minimum wage is going
Can
to
you
cost.
can you
everything
can you
else to
listen,
go up.
Joe? I don't want to have to mute you again, Joe.
You
So
do
lowering
whatever
the-
the fuck you want.
Okay, calm down. It's okay. Take the chip off your shoulder,
I
right?
have a chip on my shoulder.
Okay,
I
calm
don't
down.
like to
So,
be told that I don't know what I'm talking.
well, you were. So now you're muted again. Thanks.
You're told that often, aren't you?
This is the point, is that if you actually remove that amount of money from the economy, you likely have a period of rapid deflation. You would see things to go up because there's less money chasing the same goods, but also you don't have the quantitative buying, right? You don't have as many people in society going out and buying oranges, apples, commodities, stuff like that, food, whatever, right? That will decline, which means that you have a business that's now sitting on a lot more overhead because it's not getting sold. Raising the minimum wage allows more money into the economy. At worst, there's no effect. And because there is that argument that $15 is not enough, which I agree to. And the other argument is, oh, it's going to cause inflation. If you were to do some rapid expansion of minimum wage overnight, yeah, it probably would cause prices to go up pretty substantially. But if we're talking about 5 years slowly, or creating some sort of standard scale to get us up to, no, because you're going to have more money in the economy, more people buying stuff. Oh, God. It did. In Seattle, I was told every single thing that I've been told right now. I was told what was going to happen in Seattle. None of it happened. Nothing. Prices
So
were the
why-
same. They didn't go up. Nobody left.
So why can't people afford to go to McDonald's?
What?
Why can't people afford to go to McDonald's or Burger
What are you talking
Because they-
about?
They have an
I'm just-
insane amount. Right. Okay. Well, we can go there. Number one, they have an insane amount of profits. Number one. Number two, they spend a crazy amount of money on marketing. They've renovated every building they have in America over the last 5 years. There's a ton of reasons. It's not to do with the pay.
Do you know how much it costs to renovate buildings?
I don't care.
See, you know nothing about retail, so how can you talk to me
What
about
is it? I said I don't care.
Yeah,
did
you
they
don't
need-
care, but you just want.
What does it matter to the employee?
without
What does it matter to the employee that has
If
a
you
fucking
don't
can't
know
replace
what
their
the ripple effect is
What is-
going to be?
what does that have to do? What is McDonald's urgency to update all of
Let me
their
give you an example. Okay, you remember Rite Aid?
Oh, thank God.
Tony Polisi, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. Tony Polisi, I'm done with you interrupting me. Goodbye. Goodbye, Joe.
Remember Ben
he's
and
gonna bring up Rite
Jerry's?
Aid. You remember Blockbuster? I just they're just not listening.
Urban's?
You want to know why Rite Aid went out of business? Because it's the worst convenience store, the worst pharmacy convenience store in America. That's why. It was terrible. Their hours were garbage. Their prices were garbage. Yeah. They had a ton of retail overhead and nobody ever in there. Anytime I ever went into Rite Aid, it was like 5 people, the entire store, the entire time I was in there. Rite Aid went under not because of Rite Aid did not go under because of their fucking labor. There's 2 people working in that fucking store, okay? Rite Aid went under because they fucking couldn't manage money and couldn't figure out a
true.
path forward. They had shitty hours. They had everything. They had terrible hours. You couldn't fucking find anything. You always had to have you always go there because it's inconvenient because it's not your normal place. You got to put in a phone. You got to fucking remember if you put in your phone number or not. Like, oh, because I went up there. I literally bought this chair for Kaysen, right? This Mickey Mouse chair. And she's like, it's $40. And I was like, it said fucking 10. She's like, did you put your number in? I was like, why are you being mean to me? No, I didn't put my number in. I didn't know that was the thing. It said that on the thing. It said, I didn't know I had to put, what the fuck? You're going to charge, you weren't going to, and I found that fascinating. Like, you weren't going to be like, hey, do you have a number? It could save you $30. And so I don't go there. Rite Aid didn't go under, but they closed a shitload of stores.
I missed the ice cream section.
I hate Rite Aid. I hate it. I hate it.